Hey guys, it's Cretan here. I just want to go over some of the PTR changes. We have some new UI, some user interface changes. We have different spells and abilities for every class. Right now I'm just going to go over the Paladin class. That's my main. We'll go over some of the talents, the new Transmog system that's in effect, and I believe that's about it. So first up, I want to go into Shift P as your default. You have your mounts, your pet journal, your toy box, heirlooms, and now there's a new tab that's appearances. This is essentially your transmoggable stuff, and so you can choose your head, and you can choose your head, your shoulders, your back, chest, and you can just keep on going through every slot that's able to be transmogged. And so with this, how it works is every item that you have acquired throughout your entire, essentially WoW career on this character. This is a little bit hard to explain, but so all your plate wares, every item that you've acquired will be in this, whether if it's through questing, dungeons, raids, whatever. And the cool thing about questing is sometimes you have like 4 options you can choose from, right? And you can only choose one. However, in Legion and this new Transmog stuff, that you actually get all 4 pieces instead of just the one that you selected, so you're not missing out. So if you have a really cool chest piece and then a really cool like boots that you want, but you have to choose between the two, now you get both. So that's really nice. So honestly, it doesn't matter which one you pick. So you can go through your heads and everything. And you can actually make outfits, which is really nice. So the same thing, if you default is Control left click, which will bring up the dressing room. So let's say I'm just like, oh hey, I really like this helm. Let's do this purple one. So it brings up the dressing room, right? So you can see the helm right there. It looks pretty cool. It's like a Witch King, which is pretty cool. And then you're just like, okay, I want to do some really cool shoulders. I don't know, let's try these. And you're just like, okay, I'm done. I just want these two. You can click, oh sweet. So what you do is you click this drop down menu, and you can see I have a whole bunch of, I have a few outfits already. You just click on new outfit, and you can name it whatever you want, say Cool Mog, save it, and then you're just like, okay, let's try these new shoulders. Let's do a weird back for the hell of it. You're just like, oh wait, I want to go back to the other one I just had. So you do the drop down menu, click on Cool Mog, and it brings it right back up. So you have everything else you saved. Let's reset that. And essentially you can do the same thing with your main hand, your off hand. So let's say I want to do a cool, so you can do 2-handed swords. This drop down menu is specifically for this character, so you can, paladins cannot wield staves or daggers, and so you won't see them any of them in here. So let's do 2-handed axes, and I want to equip this guy. Okay. For like Fury Warriors or anything, or any classes that can dual wield, you will have to, instead of just clicking twice to make sure so they can have 2 weapons in their hand, you actually have to go to your main hand, click whatever weapon you want, and then your off hand and click whatever weapon you want. And same goes for your weapon enchantments, which is pretty cool. You can have different weapon enchantments, whatever you want, and it shows you which ones you have, which are the darker ones, and which ones you don't have, which are actually lighter. I guess not really lighter, but the other colored ones. So that's pretty cool too. So that's about it for the Transmog. Let's go over some of the UI changes. So if you hit your game menu, go into System. So the graphics quality is now changed. Instead of the low, or the low, medium, high, ultra, or whatever it was. You now have 1 through 10. And you can also customize whatever you want here. Advanced, network, languages, movie recording, keyboard options, sound, and sound doesn't look like it's changed that much, which is nice, and then voice as well. Now if we go back to interface, this whole sidebar has changed for the most part. So you have controls, you have combat, display, social, action bars, names, camera, mouse, accessibility, raid profiles. Yes, they have pruned out a lot of the stuff we used to use, but I guess we have to live with whatever they give us. Let's look at key bindings. Key bindings seem to be about the same, which is nice, so you don't have to mess around with that too much. Then you can mess around with your macros however you want. So now let's do Paladin class changes. So if we open up our spellbook, we have Avenging Wrath, which is the same. We have Blade of Wrath, which I'll get into later. Blessing of Freedom. Well, it looks like it went up from 6 seconds to 8 seconds of immunity to movement impairing effects. So you can go through all these different ones. Hand of Hindrance is a new one. Just Scars of Vengeance is a new one. We still have Lay on Hands and Reboot, which is nice. So yeah, the Blade of Wrath actually comes from your talents. Now, talents have been refigured almost completely. We do get Consecration back, which I'm really happy about. We have Final Verdict, Execution Sentence, Consecration for your Tier 1, and then we have the Fires of Justice, Zeal, Greater Judgment for Tier 2, Fist of Justice, Repentance, and Blinding Light for Tier 3, etc., etc. Now, the Tier 4 is a new one for us, Virtue's Blade. So your starting ability is called Blade of Justice, and your talent actually changes it according to whichever one you choose. So Virtue's Blade, it now deals 3 times normal damage. Your critical strikes now deal 3 times normal damage, so that is single target. Blade of Wrath, so it changes it. It strikes an enemy with a Blade of Wrath, dealing 12,380 holy damage. An additional 11.5 thousand holy damage over 5 seconds. It generates 2 holy power, so which is nice. So you can use that in conjunction with Judgment to generate 3 holy power. So that is also single target. Now, Divine Hammer, which is nice. It's another AoE. I know Paladins have been lacking AoEs, so we get another one, which is really nice. It's Divine Hammers, so they spin around you. Damage enemies within 8 yards for 4,000 holy damage instantly, and every 1.5 seconds for 8.5 seconds, and it also generates 2 holy power. And then we have tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Just Guard's Vengeance, Eye for an Eye, Word of Glory, and then tier 6. Yeah, just making sure I get that right. Tier 6 is Divine Intervention, Divine Steed, Seal of Light. And then the last tier is Divine Purpose, Crusade, and Holy Wrath. So they have been reconfigured almost completely. So you gotta mess around with that and figure out what you like. But the cool thing is about Paladins, as you can see up here, we actually get 3 buffs now. So we have Greater Blessing of Might. Attacks have a 10% chance to deal 30% additional damage as holy, so it's more damage. Greater Blessing of Wisdom, gaining 1% health and mana per 15 seconds, which is... it's not the greatest, but it's better than nothing. And then Greater Blessing of Kings absorbs the next 9,394 damage, and refresh to 9,394 absorption every 6 seconds. So it's like your Sacred Shield if you ever use that in Warlords of Draenor. Note the icons, they are still the same, so this no longer gives us Strength, Agility, and Intellect, and this no longer gives us Mastery, but they all have different effects. And so that is part of the Paladin UI, or the Paladin class changes. We also, like I said, we get Consecration back, which I will show you. It looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, and if you get hurt too much, you get the little red ring around your window, and you can actually toggle that on and off if you wish. So we do have new animations. So for Consecration, it looks pretty cool. He raises his sword up in the air, and it comes Consecration comes crashing down. So I think it's pretty cool. We'll do it from the back. So I think it's pretty cool. The animations are updated, and that's really nice. I will show you what Divine Hammer looks like. Okay. Now, yes. So, as you may have noticed, you can freely switch in between all your talents, but here's the catch. You cannot do it in combat, and I believe you can only do it in places where you get, like, rested XP, so like capital cities and stuff like that. So Divine Hammer looks like this. And you can run around. And that goes on for a few seconds, which is really nice. We no longer have, I believe it was called Divine Protection, which is the 40% decrease in damage of 40% decrease in damage taken from spell damage or something like that. I'll have to check back on that. But we do get Shield of Vengeance, which creates a barrier of holy light that absorbs 52,000 damage for 15 seconds. When the barrier is consumed, all damage absorbed is dealt as holy damage divided across enemies within 8 yards. So it is an additional AoE, area of effect damage. And the animation looks like this. So you kind of get this flaming orb around you. And then if you dispel it, or when it runs out of time, it actually explodes. And it sends out all the damage that you have taken to 8 yards around you, to all enemies, which is nice. What else do we have? I think it was Hammer of Wrath, we no longer have, which is the 30-second cooldown. They gave us back the Hammer of Justice, the Hodge, as some people like to call it, which is still the 1-minute cooldown, stuns for 6 seconds, which is kind of a pain, but we'll have to get used to it. So yeah, here are the greater blessings. You have all 3. We still have Flash of Light, which is nice. And they did take away the Hammer of, I believe it was called Hammer of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath was essentially the execute for Paladins, where if an enemy drops below 20% health, then you can hit them for X amount of damage, and you can actually get a glyph that increases that to 35% damage, 35% health or less. So they got rid of that for us, unfortunately, and we actually get another Justicar's Vengeance. So we get so Justicar's Vengeance is a weapon strike that deals 47,000 holy damage and restores health equal to the damage done. So you essentially get 47,000 health back, which is nice. Then deals 100% additional damage and healing when used against a stunned target. So you can use it in conjunction with Hammer of Justice. We get Cleanse Toxins instead of, I forget what the normal or the previous ability was, but it's essentially the same effect, but just a different name. I think it was actually called Cleanse. And that, I believe, is about it. One more thing, Judgment. Let's see if I can show you guys. So Judgment no longer is a single target. Judgment is no longer a single target ability. It is what it says it does. Judges the target and one other nearby enemy, dealing 21,000 holy damage and causing them to take 31% increased damage taken from your holy power spenders for 8 seconds. So you attack one monster, and then if there's another nearby monster, it will hit that one as well. And the animation has been updated, so it looks pretty cool. So if I wanted to hit this Teeming Water Guard, and I like the new nameplates as well. Whoops, that was just happened. So it's a lot more simplified. And so here's Judgment. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. So you can kind of see the new animations, which is pretty cool. So let's see if this happens. It's not happening. I don't know why. Well, you're just gonna have to trust me on this. So, it does... I'm not sure why it's not doing it now, but it does actually hit another nearby target if they're close enough. Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing it now. Maybe they have to not die. And so here's a new animation for Crusader Strike. It has a little bit of a light tail, I guess you could say. It looks pretty cool. And Crusader Strike now does have 2 charges instead of just 1, which is really nice. And then Templar's Verdict. Let's look at Templar's Verdict. A little bit new animation as well. Let's kill him. I want to show you guys a Divine Storm. So it is a little bit different as well. So he brings his sword or his weapon up in the air, and the hammers spin around him for actually a lot less time, which is nice. And I believe that is about it. If I've missed anything, please tell me. I will see you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll try to do more of these.